Art of Knowledge, the 5th of 7 lessons, in storyboard form. The journey. Knowledge, specifically the divine knowledge we all had from whence this all began, is sorely needed to be remembered again in the day-to-day in and out affairs of our lives, here and now, more than ever before. If only one knew what motivation prompted a certain act or deed, or that which wrought another's unpleasant predicament, or knew what pain and suffering a wayward friend or stranger is and or was going through, would you not have responded, thought, or think differently if as much could be known simultaneously? Should there even be a difference? Forget not what kindness is. It is a spontaneous act and or deed, as if foreknown or done with foreknowledge, unbeknownst until then, though always realized in retrospect, if not instantaneously on the spot. Then to be kind or understanding in whatever clime one finds himself in is to show the outward expression of divine knowledge from within. Again, pure and simple. Remember, since we are individuals, it's only natural to find developmental differences amongst us in interpretations of opinions, in thoughts, and yet that which applies to an individual is applicable to groups too. Like the little bit of yeast it takes to leaven the whole batch, or a simple catalyst which ignites the mix of otherwise neutral ingredients, reactively speaking, reaching a critical mass or climax of some sort. And if one allows and or resorts to judging others based on negativity, these and those petty differences given shows what one really doesn't know. For the way is only made difficult and or hard by they whom are so transfixed, stubborn, and or indifferent, as in ignorant to point of disability, inability, and or unwillingness to be led by their own heart and spirit, or more at higher self, which itself is in essence kind to begin with anyway. See? Such knowledge must be put into practice and practical use in the affairs of nations as well, ASAP no less, for clearly warfare has done a piss-poor job on really making the world safer, hasn't it now? Let alone cleaner. Not to mention it not being nice either, or safe as it used to be not very long ago, much more than so today. And it begins and it ends with us, not they or them. You see, it is we, the people, who make up the very nations themselves. And it is of utmost importance one knows or learn that the principles of equal rights and peace have to come from an individual's heart and soul. For one cannot bomb or legislate kindness into the minds of others without grave repercussions, let alone dictate how another should live or die based on assumptions, aka being judgmental. Refer to beginning again. Only free will reigns as supreme power. Never lose it. And just because one plays along with the so-called game, if you really don't know what's going on and yet still follow along, it doesn't mean you have given consent. That's just what sheep do. Rather, be a herder. Every one of y'all. However, going along with what one knows to be wrong with a flock may be construed as approval nevertheless. A slippery slope and steep cliff indeed if no one pays heed. After all, you can't stop a movement which has no head, can you now? The basis of spiritual law is to love one another as oneself. Go figure. being the individual beings we are, one with everything. Safety found in the spirit of truth, and this knowledge can also be applied as effectively to favor and protect even star nations. Just as the misuse of such knowledge can and does bring about confusion and division amongst same. The purpose of creation and concepts thereof are made clearer with knowledge of universal laws, without which there would not be a reason to persist, let alone exist. Surely you know, as well as can see and have experienced what havoc the misuse of knowledge or lack thereof wreaks upon individuals, groups, and nations, just as there has been and will continue to be spiritual decay and degeneration so long as humanity as a whole continues on its obstinate trajectory, until anything seemingly worthwhile fades away into obscurity. Who wants that? Consider this: the elites and individual worshippers of fictitious religions, money, power, and fame, or a mob taking the law into its own hands with brutish group mentality, or nations that allow and wage wars upon others near and far. What for, other than due to mere differences of interpretation, opinion, and thought? What the fuck? It's sheer ignorance. So know this: in time, everyone reaps what they have allowed or silently condoned to be sown as well, whether knowledgeably or knowingly done or not. For that is simply and purely the universal law, with karma being the executioner or secretary of same. Although life is short, the journey ain't over, not by a long shot. Just make the best use of what you got and get, knowledge-wise, and the rest shall surely follow in stride. So strive to give the increase, no matter what. Get it?